We are up at Les Alpes in France on the Glacier. It's the 31st of May, and I'm going to give you a little top to bottom to show you what the conditions are like, so you can kind of decide if it's worth making a summer trip, an out of season trip in the springtime. I'll let you enjoy the top to bottom run, and when we get down to the bottom, I'll give you a little bit of an explanation of how things work in the summer, because it is a little bit different to your usual winter skiing. All right, let me put my helmet on. That's what I'm holding right now. The camera is attached to the helmet. I've got grief in some old videos for doing this, and people think I'm not wearing a helmet, but I am. Anyway, so we're going to start off at the top here. I'm going to give you a quick look at the park. Alright, so we've got some pretty monster features over to the side, some rails and some smaller jumps down here. Woo! So that's the park area up there. It's got its own dedicated T-bar down here. You've got some awesome pistes up on the Glacier here, and now we're going to go for this really nice long cruisy run, but first I need to keep a little bit of speed. Ooh. Right, and that is the end of the road. So, catch my breath. So I'll just explain summer skiing up here a little bit, because as I mentioned at the top, it is a bit different to what you get in the winter. And I'll post links and a bit more of a detailed explanation down below with opening and closing times of all the lifts and stuff like that. So, conditions wise, we've got nice, soft, slushy snow, and we're getting that typical kind of spring, summer melt freeze cycle where the sun heats the snow up throughout the day, it turns soft and slushy, you get a nice window where it's at that level, what we have right now, and then overnight, as it gets cold, it refreezes again, meaning that first thing in the morning it's pretty rock solid. Now, you often get that cycle during the winter, but you usually get the snow sort of slushing up later in the day. But because the sun gets up so high so early, we experience that cycle really early on in the day, and things are actually starting to slush up at about 9:30 this morning. But they open the lifts super early, so you can get on the lifts at 7 a.m. You can see the big gondola over here that takes you all the way from town at the bottom up to this mid station here, then up to the top of the glacier up there. So the lifts open at 7 a.m, but they do shut about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and that's because it gets so hot, it gets so slushy that the snow in the park and on the piste, it just gets destroyed if everyone's still riding it late into the day when the snow's turned into that kind of thick, slushy porridge. Now, you've got this awesome ski area, as you can see, and we've got a pretty big area, but it's not the full resort that you get in, you know, the winter months of December, January, February, March. So you can see there's more of the resort over here, and we've got a lot more vertical down below, but at this time of the year, we can't go any lower than this. So we're at 2,600 meters right now, which is normally the mid station, and we started off at 3,200 meters on top of the glacier. So you've got still a good amount of vertical. And if you remember when I was coming down, you could see those T-bars. And the reason I wanted to film this video today on the 31st of May, sorry, is because this is the last day when you can ride down to this mid station. So I wanted to show you what the conditions are like, pretty good still, all the way down to this mid station. And this has been open throughout May. So I know it's a little bit late for this year, but next year, if you're thinking about doing a late season trip, I can really recommend coming here in May. And not only that, but it's actually really quiet. Even though there's more open during May than there's going to be going into next month, it's really quiet for whatever reason. You don't get all the ski racer kids coming up and training just yet. So up on the glacier where I started, we had the park. That's going to stay open until 6th of July. So the first weekend in July, it always stays open till then. And the runs next to those T-bars up on the top of the glacier. So this lower slope, this nice long run I did today, this closes today, but you can still ride up on the glacier until early July. And yeah, I'm going to be riding there quite a bit over the next few weeks. And it's a really awesome place. I would have been riding here more throughout May, but my knees are a bit creaky. I need to give myself a little bit of a rest after the winter, try and sort myself out a little bit. But yeah, as I mentioned, more details down below. Thank you for watching, guys, and I might drop a few little videos this summer, but I know it's not really the time for us thinking about snowboarding, but I'll be coming back early on at the start of next season for sure. So have a good summer, and I will see you soon.